Before Luke Saint now stood the colossal, quasi-level 5 golden-eyed demon ape. General Yu Fei rested his chin on his hands, tensely observing the camera feed. Crystal Dong stood beside him, continuing her report. The golden-eyed demon ape of the final stage has not yet been released. When the time is up and all the genius representatives have arrived, the ape's shackles will be removed. After reading, Crystal Dong thought to herself, Luke Saint, you've really given me too many surprises. I knew he was strong, but I never imagined he could be this strong. The Genesis star. I never thought a dream that was once unattainable would become a reality through Luke Saint. Two male instructors were discussing. With Luke Saint's strength, as long as the other star-rated geniuses arrive, they'll definitely have enough power to kill the quasi-level 5 ape. But the other disagreed. No, they probably don't need that many people. With just one or two others providing support, he'll have a chance to kill it. The final score is calculated based on the speed of progression and the contribution value after killing the final ape. At this point, Luke Saint walked up to the iron cage of the quasi-level 5 ape. The two men predicted, "It seems Luke Saint is the star of this competition." As they were talking, the instructors were suddenly stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes. Cold sweat beaded on their foreheads in shock. Luke Saint had broken the iron cage holding the golden-eyed demon ape. Even the ape itself was surprised. Then, the ape began to stand up, growling as if it had something to say. Standing before the giant ape, Luke Saint looked tiny, but that certainly didn't stop his fighting spirit. He beckoned with his fingers, taunting it. "Come on, let's see. Is there any difference between a quasi-level 5 aberrant beast and a level 5 martial artist? Let's go, before the others interrupt our fight." The instructors were slack-jawed in astonishment. What? This kid is planning to challenge the golden-eyed demon ape alone? Is he crazy? This isn't confidence, it's arrogance. But another instructor spoke up. Wait, don't forget. Based on the strength he's shown so far, consummate-level movement techniques, various perfect comprehension-level martial arts. The golden-eyed demon ape's specialty is brute force. Brute force here means raw punching power. If he just avoids a direct confrontation, he might have a chance. The next moment, the giant golden-eyed demon ape shattered its chains. It opened its mouth and roared, its eyes turning white as if going mad. It thrashed around to break the remaining chains, then glared and roared ferociously, revealing two large, long fangs. Luke Saint began to channel his energy, preparing for a direct confrontation with the golden-eyed demon ape. Boom! A massive sound erupted. The two had exchanged a thunderous blow. The two instructors stared, unable to believe their eyes. They exclaimed, "He's taking it head-on?" Luke Saint's hand was tiny compared to the golden-eyed demon ape's. The young man was holding back a giant fist, and the ground began to crack. Luke Saint supported with one hand, the other in a defensive stance. Very quickly, the ape prepared to launch its second giant fist. The instructor, Shangguan Ling, sneered. Haha, what an arrogant, foolish kid. Taking a full-force punch from the golden-eyed demon ape head-on. Even 10 lives wouldn't be enough for him to survive. Crystal Dong looked on worriedly, calling out, "Luke Saint." Below, the dust was thick as the golden-eyed demon ape swung its second punch. A colossal fist descended. The mighty fist tore through the white smoke. Luke Saint below braced himself to counter. Boom! Luke Saint's counterpunch landed. Another massive explosion occurred, and the aftershock kicked up even more dust. Seeing the golden-eyed demon ape stagger backward, even General Yu Fei had to exclaim, "Not bad, kid." Flames now surrounded the area. Luke Saint looked at the ape with great interest. "Oh, not bad. You took a 10x astral power punch from me and didn't die. You're worthy of being my dinner." Shangguan Ling's jaw dropped, unable to believe his eyes. A sea of fire erupted around the young Luke Saint. He looked at it coldly, raising his fist. This next punch, rest in peace. 10 suns burning the sky. A punch was thrown, so bright that no one could see anything. General Yu Fei watched the screen without blinking. Crystal Dong was nervous, but also full of anticipation. Then, they only heard the golden-eyed demon ape roar in pain. Luke Sane was unleashing his full punch. The golden-eyed demon ape was sent flying, the sea of fire engulfing it. General Yu Fei couldn't believe his eyes. Looking at Luke Saint's majestic appearance, he confirmed, Grandmaster's will. Suddenly, he slammed the table in excitement and laughed loudly. Ha ha! Good. Very good. In my entire life, I never thought I'd see someone not even 20 years old condense the will of a Grandmaster. The path to level 7 has been opened. In just a little while, our eastern region will have another Grandmaster. General Yu Fei was overjoyed and satisfied. A young Grandmaster. Is Luke Saint now even stronger than I am? Below, Quinn Tam let out a sigh of relief. You brat, you really scared me to death. After finishing off the golden-eyed demon ape, Luke Saint took a breath. There's no more aberrant beast aura. Looks like this was the final challenge. It's over already? A bit boring. Suddenly, a bold idea popped into his head. If it's boring, I can make it fun myself. Then he sat down on the ground. Yu Fei asked, confused, huh? What is Luke Saint doing? The final boss was killed by him alone. Why isn't he leaving? Suddenly, he understood something and chuckled. Haha, I get it. Just leave him be. As long as no one's life is in danger, let him play however he wants. The instructors below were also intrigued. My God, this year's genius election is on a scale that covers the entire eastern region. But it seems in General Yu's eyes now, none of that matters. The only thing he cares about is Luke Saint. What does he mean by not killing everyone? Does that mean killing one or two is fine? I don't even dare to think about it. The final trial boss, Luke Saint, a level 3 martial artist and level 3 psychic. Luke Saint sat there thinking, the Genesis star selection is over. Now it's Luke Saint's playtime. While Luke Saint waited calmly, the other contestants were fighting through the previous stages to reach the final one. Rex Xing, after finishing off the Shadow Leopard, was aching all over. He thought tiredly, that level 4 Shadow Leopard was really strong. His face showed this was a tough challenge. Even with my iron skin, I couldn't block all the damage. If I'm not mistaken, this should be the end of the trial, right? Rex Xing continued through the door to the final stage, a vast but silent space. There's no sound up ahead, so I'm the first one. Suddenly, he looked up and was shocked. It was the golden-eyed demon ape. A fully grown demon ape is a hegemon among level 5s. Before his eyes, the golden-eyed demon ape had a huge hole in its chest. On its hand sat a young man with his back to him. Rex Xing wondered, who is that? At this point, Rex Xing started to break out in a cold sweat, his whole body tense and wary. What kind of person can do this to a level 5 hegemon with a single punch? Could he be? Rex Xing approached very slowly and cautiously, bowing his head to ask, Hello, what's the situation here? Am I considered to have passed the selection? Luke Saint, sitting on the golden-eyed demon ape's hand, said only one word, wait. The young man was startled and looked up. Huh. At the same time, the other two gates opened. Stella Kong of Dongza Province with her elemental control talent, and the long-haired Jaden Xiao of Jiangzhou Province with his spiritual talent entered. These two were extremely confident. Stella was casually blowing a bubblegum bubble. Jaden stood there, hands in his pockets, striking a cool pose. You're Rex Xing from Shilin Province, right? I've seen you before. Rex Xing turned to look at him. That's right. Jaden Xiao pointed and asked, Is this the final point? And what's with that thing up there? Hearing this, Stella observed more closely, and it seemed she recognized it was the quasi-level 5 leader beast, the golden-eyed demon ape. The three of them were bewildered. Rex Xing said, No, that corpse is probably just to scare us. Otherwise, no one here could defeat a golden-eyed demon ape. Something's not right. Jaden Xiao immediately asked. Then what's he doing sitting up there? Rex Xing had no idea and exclaimed, Oh, I get it. That person must be the final gatekeeper of our selection. If we pass his test, we'll probably clear the trial. Rex Shing's words left Stella and Jaden completely baffled. Huh. Rex Shing crossed his arms, looking cool as a cucumber, and said confidently, "Hee hee, you didn't expect that, did you?" Suddenly, at this moment, Luke Saint stood up and raised his hand. "You're very smart." With a radiant face and blue light shining from his eyes, as if starting a mischievous trick, Luke Saint said, "I'll give you all 5 minutes to get ready. After 5 minutes, challenge me. Kill me, defeat me. Let me see what the candidates for this year's Genesis project are really made of." Rex Shing put his hands on his hips and laughed. "Ha ha, I knew it." Jaden Shao pointed at him and said, "Ugh, it seems the final stage of our selection doesn't require us to deal with an aberrant beast after all. Just him." Luke Saint stood proudly on the hand of the golden-eyed demon ape, looking quite impressive. Seeing Luke Saint's slender, scholarly appearance, Stella Kong said, "But he doesn't even have any ki. His strength must be nothing special." Hearing Stella's comment, Jaden Shao agreed. "It's true, I can't sense any ki. Is the Eastern Military Region looking down on us?" The three of them appeared very confident. As for stamina, 5 minutes is more than enough. At this point, Jaden Shao used his psychic senses to feel something. Then he said seriously, "But my intuition tells me his strength is definitely not simple." "What's going on?" Rex Shing retorted again. "How strong can he be?" "The three of us represent the top combat power under 18 in the entire Eastern region. Why should we be afraid of him alone?" Luke Saint heard this and smirked to himself, thinking, "My acting skills are better than Instructor Tan's, aren't they?" At the same time, observing through the camera, the instructors couldn't help but exclaim, "This kid, is he planning to torment all the contestants at once?" General Yu Fei laughed heartily. "Ha ha, this Luke Saint is very interesting. Truly interesting. It looks like we're in for a good show. Let's see." Suddenly, an instructor spoke up. "General, I humbly request an immediate end to the selection. This can't go on." Other instructors also raised their hands in agreement. "I agree." Seconded. "This genius from Dongning Province has shown strength far superior to the others. It's highly likely he will cause irreparable physical and psychological damage." Qin Tan sneered himself. "Dongza Province, Jiangzhou Province, Shilin Province. So it's their head instructors, huh? Ha! Starting to feel sorry for their own geniuses now. Being defeated by Luke Saint in this state, it's truly ridiculous." Crystal Dawn also thought to herself, "Ha! When they brought out the level 5 aberrant beast, no one had this much of an issue. Now that it's Luke Saint, the reaction is even more intense." This is enough to prove how high Luke Saint's threat level is in everyone's minds here. After hearing their opinions, General Yu Fei stuck to his decision. "Fine. How about this? Tell the supervisors to be on high alert, ready to protect them at any moment. Don't let Luke Saint kill them." Crystal Dong received the order and replied, "Yes, sir." Shang Wanling, at this point, had no strength left. He fell back in his chair, his eyes wide with disbelief at what he had seen. "The kid Crystal Dong brought. Why is he so strong? Not only did I lose face, but now I'm about to lose 3 vials of precious marrow. I'm ruined, truly ruined." Back in the final stage, Rex Shing was now engulfed in flames. He powered up confidently. "I'm good." Recovered to 90%. Jaden Shao added 90%. Stella Kong sneered 80%. More than enough to deal with him. Even if that golden-eyed demon ape came back to life, I'd dare to fight it. A mysterious blue energy radiated from Luke Saint's body. The young man pointed at the 3 remaining contestants and laughed excitedly. "Not bad. That's more like it. Come me, all of you. Defeat me, and you will be the new Genesis stars." Hearing this, Rex Shing showed a look of disdain. "All at once. No need. I alone am enough." With that, he leaped high into the air. Stella looked on with regret. "Damn it, he got the first move." Jaden Shao calmly said, "It's fine. If you want to go first, let him. We can see the gatekeeper's strength." But then again, Jaden added, looking at Rex Shing's powerful physique with some admiration, That guy's strength is terrifying. He's probably the strongest among the three of us. Rex Shing was engulfed in flames, his muscles bulging. His hands hardened as he clenched them into fists. Then he shot towards Luke Saint, immediately using his defensive talent. Iron Skin 100%. Seeing Rex Shing's overwhelming power, Stella and Jaden's eyes widened. This power, he's a peak level 4. At the same time, Rex Shing was charging like a rocket. But Luke Saint just stood there calmly, watching. Rex Shing's eyes were bloodshot with determination. Lose. While Rex Shing charged with all his might, Luke Saint simply used one finger to block him. If you're so good, then defeat me. Even more insulting, Luke Saint let out a yawn, as if the fight was making him sleepy. Seeing the gatekeeper block him with just one finger, Rex Shing was stunned. Huh, how is this possible? The next moment, with a light flick, Luke Saint sent Rex Shing flying. He crashed to the ground with a thunderous impact. His two teammates were, of course, frozen in shock. The aftershock kicked up a cloud of dust, obscuring Rex Shing's current condition. Luke Saint looked at the remaining two and said, "Hey, you two, are you really not coming at me together?" The young man, Luke Saint, was still standing on the hand of the giant golden-eyed demon ape, waiting. Meanwhile, Rex Shing lay motionless in the rubble, the dust still swirling. When provoked by Luke Saint to attack together, Stella and Jaden still stood frozen, not daring to charge. Both were intimidated by the power that had taken down Rex Shing so easily. Jaden Xiao was stunned. He took down Rex Shing in one blow. He looked so young. How can he be so terrifyingly strong? Seeing Luke Saint jump down from the ape, the two of them flinched and stepped back, their faces filled with fear, breaking out in a cold sweat. With his limited knowledge, Jaden explained, "I've heard that some martial artists in their youth are too ambitious and take supplements recklessly, causing hormonal imbalances. Their bodies stop developing early, so even when they're 30 or 40, they still look like they're in their teens. This guy must be one of them." Stella exclaimed anxiously, "Huh," and asked, "You mean he looks 17 or 18, but he's actually old enough to be our father? What kind of ageless youth is this? The military is too cunning, doing this to make us let our guard down." Jaden Xiao frowned, replying tensely, "That's right. After all, this is the selection for the entire eastern region. They'll use any trick they can. But I really didn't expect the final stage to be this unimaginable, even finding a walking medicine cabinet like him." Seeing the two of them just standing there and not attacking, Luke Saint was getting impatient. He thought to himself, "These two, did an aberrant beast knock them stupid?" Luke Saint walked up to them and asked, "Are you done discussing?" He smiled cheerfully and said, "How about this? Let's try a different way. As long as you two can make me take a step back or block one of my attacks, you'll be considered to have passed. How about it?" Stella and Jaden's eyes widened in surprise upon hearing this. The next moment, Stella seemed to go berserk. Powerful blue lightning crackled around her body. Her eyes turned white blue, and she roared, "Don't look down on me." Jaden Xiao also gritted his teeth, a purple energy surrounding him as a volley of sharp, purple spikes appeared in the air. Jaden Xiao thrust his palm forward, and a volley of purple iron spikes shot towards Luke Saint. Seeing his opponent take the initiative, Luke Saint looked pleased and ready. That's more like it." In his mind, Jaden Xiao sneered at Luke Saint. "You insect. No matter how strong he is, underestimating a level 2 psychic will be his biggest regret. Let's see how he dodges this volley of iron." Luke Saint held his hand out in front of him, and a powerful energy radiated from his body, forming a defensive shield. Jaden Zhao's volley of iron spikes was completely useless against Luke Saint. The next moment, Jaden Zhao's many iron spikes were under Luke Saint's control. The young man gathered them into a pile in front of him, then sent them flying back at Jaden. Seeing this, he broke out in a cold sweat, his face frozen like an idiot. How is this possible? He couldn't stand firm and fell backward. The solid iron he had launched with all his strength was caught with bare hands. Luke Saint ignored Jaden Zhao's nonsensical words and turned to Stella with a charming smile. Next, it's your turn. Pikachu. Stella seemed to have the ability to discharge a powerful 10,000 volts. But then she suddenly stopped, her eyes wide with shock. What? Luke Saint had easily grabbed her by the wrist. He looked at her and said, "This won't do. You can't lose focus during a fight. Hasn't your head instructor taught you that?" Stella fell to the ground, wondering to herself, how did he manage to grab me directly? What kind of speed and reaction is that? Luke Saint said something bold that left her frozen for 5 seconds. All right, now shock me. She let out a dumbfounded, huh. Luke Saint held Stella with one hand and beckoned with the other, taunting her. Don't you get it? Shock me. Use your 10,000 volts. If it's satisfying enough, maybe I'll reconsider letting you pass. Stella was furious, her brow furrowed as she gritted her teeth and yelled, "You! I told you, don't underestimate me." With that, a massive surge of electricity erupted from Stella. Luke Saint closed his eyes to feel it. Not bad, this is it. He slowly felt the sensation of lightning coursing through his body, fully activating the natural breathing method, turning the power of the lightning into his own. A loud explosion occurred, and the shock wave sent everything flying. Luke Saint's voice rang out, "Success." Hearing this, Stella was bewildered and asked, "Huh? What did I do?" The lightning still seemed to crackle around Luke Saint. The fourth special breathing method, the breath of life. Luke Saint turned and walked closer to Stella, praising her. Not bad, not bad. The young man even patted her on the shoulder with satisfaction. Very good, you've passed the selection. Stella's eyes widened in confusion. Huh? What? What did he say? She blushed with joy. I passed. I passed the Genesis Star selection. Just me. I'm the Genesis Star. Stella was so happy she jumped for joy. Ah, the strongest combat power representing the entire eastern region under 18. The title of the highest talented martial arts genius. Supreme glory. I really did it. Overjoyed, she turned and saluted Luke Saint. Thank you, instructor. Thank you for your recognition. Did you call me Pikachu? Then from now on, my call sign will be Pikachu. Luke Saint chuckled with amusement. No need to thank me. It was your own excellence that earned my recognition. Keep working hard, Pikachu. At this moment, Jaden Zhao stood with his arms outstretched, confused. That's how you pass. What kind of vague passing standard is this? What the hell? Rex Xing also asked angrily. It's just over like that? All my effort was for nothing? Just as Luke Saint was about to leave, an instructor suddenly entered. He said to Luke Saint, "Had enough fun?" Luke Saint of Dongning Province, the general, said you should go prepare to receive the Genesis Star Commendation. Why did a monster like you have to compete? Those three are truly unlucky. Stella, standing behind, was stunned. What does that mean? What do you mean he's going to the Genesis Star Commendation ceremony? Isn't the Genesis Star me? Isn't he the final gatekeeper of the selection? Jaden Zhao and Rex Xing, of course, couldn't believe what they were hearing either. No way him. At this point, the instructor pointed and explained, "You've all misunderstood. He's just like you, a contestant in the selection. He just arrived 20 minutes earlier than you." He pointed at the golden-eyed demon ape and said, "There's no final gatekeeper. This quasi-level 5 golden-eyed demon ape was the final boss. He sent it to the afterlife with a single punch. As for what happened just now, he was just having some fun." The three of them were hit with one surprise after another, their faces completely blank. Hearing this, Stella fainted on the spot. The instructor was also startled and shouted, Hey, the contestant from Dongza Province. Where are the medics? Get over here and help." Cut to Zhao Lai, Shangwan Ling's subordinate, who was the last one on the racetrack. He was leaping forward to catch the beast. He finally got you. After a long struggle with the beast, he finally caught it. Damn it, a level 4 aberrant beast is tougher than I thought. Zhao Lai, being a fire elemental, quickly burst into flames. The screaming aberrant beast was quickly roasted black. He even kicked the charred remains to double-check. Immediately after, Zhao Lai collapsed to the ground, panting heavily, his face covered in sweat. Damn, I almost got stuck here. At this point, he was exhausted, his stamina and energy completely depleted. Suddenly, he smirked triumphantly. But so what? Wasn't that the first time I successfully killed a level 4 aberrant beast? He ran a hand through his hair, tilting his head up arrogantly. It's level 4, not level 3 or level 2, but level 4. I can't even believe my own brilliant achievement. If I'm not mistaken, the instructors watching me through the selection camera must be completely stunned by my talent and stamina. Huh! Suddenly, an instructor jumped down from above and asked, Zhao Lai from Dongyi province, right? At this point, Zhao Lai still had no idea what was going on. He struck a cool pose, his face full of glee. Whoa, you scared me. Yes, that's me. The instructor looked at the notification board and said, Don't go any further. The selection is over. Pack up and get ready to leave with me. Zhao Li's score had been successfully uploaded to the system. Hearing this, Zhao Lai was ecstatic. The selection is over? How's my score, instructor? He asked with an eager voice, pointing to himself. Am I first? Am I the Genesis star? The instructor's question was like a bucket of cold water on Zhao Li's face. Huh? What are you dreaming about? The Genesis star was decided half an hour ago. Hearing the instructor's answer, Zhao Lai was dazed, unable to believe it. The instructor continued. This selection has been going on for so long mainly because the instructor was about to say it was all Luke Saint's joke, but after a moment's thought, he said, Never mind, it's pointless to tell you. Your score is outside the top 5. Let's go. Zhao Lai felt like he had fallen into an abyss. What? I'm outside the top 5? Are you kidding me? I'm Zhao Lai. He roared in frustration. Zhao Lai, who single-handedly killed a level 4 aberrant beast for the first time. The instructor looked at his frantic state and sighed, not knowing what to say. On the screen was an image of Stella Kong. General Yu Fei said to Crystal Dong, Put the little girl from Dongza province on the list for the aberrant blood pool. He shook his head and sighed. That girl has been through a lot. Stella Kong's instructor heard this and immediately stood up to thank Yu Fei. Thank you, General. He was overjoyed. Only the top 3 are qualified to enter the aberrant blood pool. Luke Saint fully deserves first place. Rex Xing in second place is also correct, but third place Jaden Xiao and Stella Kong are on par. But after all, he's a psychic, which is rare. He was happy and satisfied. I never expected to get this result. Stella, the price you paid was worth it. Keep up the good work, my girl. Goodbye. Cut to the young man Luke Saint. He was walking to a room, thinking, after leaving the selection passage, they immediately sent me back to rest. I thought I'd be getting my reward right away. On the table were 4 cans that looked like soda, but they were recovery drinks. Luke Saint walked over, picked up a can with a human head logo, and turned it over, thinking, they said this is a recovery drink prepared for me. The medicine of this era. Will it even have an effect on me? Although he thought it wouldn't work, he still popped the tab and downed a can in one go. This is almost like a high-end functional drink. It's supposed to clear the mind, but it's useless. Luke Saint opened another can, waved his hand in disgust at the smell. This will just prolong my physical recovery. It's completely inferior to the medicine I make myself. Then, whether the medicine had taken effect or not, he quickly lay down on the bed, thinking, I wonder how the Spirit Foundation strengthening soup that Helena Ha is making is coming along. It's been a while since I contacted her. I should sense my cultivation technique again. Luke Saint quickly felt the electrical currents running through his body. He looked at his hands and realized the breath of thunder combines the advantages of the breath of fire and the breath of wind. It's faster, and its explosive power is stronger, but it still can't reach the extremes of either. In short, it's a very powerful and balanced breathing method. Luke Saint sighed to himself. Am I pushing myself too hard? Because his peers, like his old classmates, were still ordinary students, still playing games online or dozing off in class. Thinking of this, his heart felt heavy. Isn't this how everyone lives? What does the future, a year from now, have to do with me? I'll be long dead by then anyway. I might not even have descendants. I don't even know if I'll live a full life. Wouldn't it be better to just live this life happily and comfortably? But suddenly, he clenched his fist with determination. No, if I've seen it with my own eyes, how can I pretend it never happened? If I made a choice, how can I give up so easily? I'm not just doing this for the people of 10,000 years in the future, but for myself. Luke Saint looked at his fist resolutely. I'll give it my all, even if it breaks my bones. Not everyone has the chance to possess what I have, to see what I've seen, and to burn with passion for it. After a long moment of reflection, he firmly placed his hands on his chest, full of hope. This is definitely my choice. Enough with the gloomy feelings. So what if I have to keep pushing myself? Then, Luke Saint quickly opened the system to check the historical data. The screen showed name, Luke Saint, gender, male, lifespan, martial era, June 297, martial era, August 432, martial strength, level 7 martial artist. The information panel then displayed Luke Saint's life history. At 18, became a level 2 martial artist, shocking by his city. Subsequently, under the recommendation of the Bai City Martial Artists Association, he participated in the Dongning Province Genius Training Camp. Won first place. In the same year, participated in the Genesis Star selection and earned the title of Genesis Star. Luke Saint read and thought, my personal data isn't much different from last time, just my history has been brightened up a bit. My strength is still limited to the level 7 Grandmaster realm. My character evaluation has gone up by half a star, reaching 3.5 stars. This is probably related to my choice to join the Eastern Military Region. But fighting large-scale aberrant beasts led to me dying 20 years earlier. If I hadn't died, could I have broken through to level 8 Great Grandmaster? The information then showed the family status section, and something was off. Looking at the spouse section, Luke Saint's eyes widened in disbelief. On it was his wedding photo. Holy crap, Instructor Crystal Dong. I never would have expected this. Luke Saint was flustered. No way, Crystal Dong is older than me. She's almost 30. For those wondering why Crystal Dong looks so young, people in the martial world maintain a youthful appearance due to cultivation. The picture also showed a strange scene. Crystal Dong was carrying Luke Saint in her arms. He was confused. How could I marry her? Isn't that like an old cow eating young grass? This is too ridiculous. Next was a steamy picture. Luke Saint broke out in a sweat looking at it. No, wait. Thinking about it, after I join the Eastern Military Region and become a Genesis Star, I'll probably be spending a lot of time with her. In our hero's imagination, Instructor Crystal Dong would secretly have a crush on him. Luke Saint trembled all over. Our previous relationship, plus developing feelings later on, it seems this is really possible. Damn it, Instructor Crystal Dong is going to be my wife. I won't be able to look her in the face anymore. After being mentioned so many times, elsewhere, Crystal Dong couldn't stop sneezing. On the way, Luke Saint was stumbling, his movement stiff. No, I have to find someone to vent to. Then he looked ahead, and his face froze. He calmed himself down. Calm down, calm down. The martial goddess is over there. Meanwhile, everyone had gathered to wait for the awards. General Yu Fei and the other instructors had prepared the prizes. The main character, our Luke Saint, of course, couldn't be absent. The atmosphere was bustling and lively. General Yu Fei saw Luke Saint arrive and said, if everyone is here, then let's begin. Luke Saint, come on up. A gold medal was personally pinned onto Luke Saint's chest by General Yu Fei. The young man now looked sharp and handsome. After pinning the medal, he said, this is made of the same material as a Grandmaster's medal, just a different style. I hope that one day you can wear a real Grandmaster's medal. Looking straight into General Yu Fei's eyes, Luke Saint replied quickly, definitely. Then, the young man placed his hand on his chest, full of confidence. And that day won't be far off. Hearing this, Yu Fei laughed heartily. Ah, good. Then I'll wait for that day. Ha ha ha. Instructor Quintan, hearing these words and seeing the friendly interaction from Yu Fei, said, Luke Saint actually dares to say that. But it doesn't make him seem arrogant, but more like he's stating a fact. Crystal Dong thought to herself, the Eastern Military Region has a Genesis star every year, but Luke Saint is the first one to receive this kind of treatment from General Yu. Next was the announcement. The top 10 will receive a vial of aberrant blood as a reward. The top 10 contestants were thrilled to receive this special prize. General Yu Fei pointed and said, Luke Saint and the other 3 in the top 4, follow me. The rest of you are dismissed. Rex Xing was extremely excited. It's time. This is it, the aberrant blood pool and the aberrant marrow pool. Stella Kong was no less excited. The rewards for this Genesis star selection are the richest of all time. Jaden Xiao was overjoyed. Originally, only the top 3 were qualified to enter the aberrant blood pool. But because of that monster Luke Saint's existence, General, you made an exception to let all 3 of us in. This is great. Below, Zhao was crying his eyes out. The aberrant blood pool, and I only get a small portion of aberrant blood. Damn it. My instructor even bet and lost, so he has to hand over 3 portions of aberrant blood. Maybe this portion was taken from his family. This guy's instructor was truly top-notch. A while later, they arrived at the entrance to the aberrant blood pool. General Yu Fei asked the guard, Is everything ready? He immediately replied, Everything is ready. They can enter at any time. Good. Everyone come in. As they stepped inside, the group saw a huge bull's head on the wall and broke out in a cold sweat. The general walked a bit further and stopped. This is it. He went to the 3 aberrant blood supply pods and said, You 3, take off your clothes and prepare to enter the cultivation pods. Jaden Xiao and Rex Xing were as happy as if they'd won the lottery, quickly replying, Yes, sir. Only Stella Kong was a bit startled. Huh, take them off. Right here. And soon enough, she had taken off her clothes, as the allure of the reward was too great. Ah, so this is level 5 aberrant blood. Stella was left in just a bikini, revealing her hot figure. She seemed to have thrown all caution to the wind, exclaiming, A whole pod for me to absorb? This is so much stronger than just a portion of aberrant blood. She then lay down in the aberrant blood supply pod. Nearby, the general said to Luke Saint, Luke Saint, you follow me. I'll take you to the aberrant marrow pool. General Yu Fei and Crystal Dong led him into the aberrant marrow pool. Luke Saint entered and looked around. Then the young man asked, This is the aberrant marrow? Why is it only half full? I'm a Genesis star. You can't be this stingy, right? His future wife replied, Only half? Do you know how much this much aberrant marrow costs? Over 1.5 billion. And that's just the cost price. If it were sold, it would be at least 10 times that. Luke Saint was startled and asked back, 1.5 billion? I see. So what if this isn't enough for me to absorb? Can I get a refill? Crystal Dong smiled. Absorb this first, then we'll see. No one has ever been able to absorb this much before. With that, she turned to leave and said, Get in. Absorbing this aberrant marrow is no simple task. Luke Saint replied, All right, then let's begin. The young man quickly entered the aberrant marrow, revealing his muscular, well-built physique. His future wife, also known as the heavy-duty aircraft Crystal Dong, pressed the start button while thinking, This kid, his muscles are pretty impressive. It seems he's really been training hard. At this point, the young man was absorbing inside the aberrant marrow pool. He felt as if he had entered another dimension, a powerful impact from the aberrant marrow. Luke Saint gritted his teeth. So this is aberrant marrow. The power is immense. It feels like a living creature is crawling inside my body. So that's how it is. No wonder they say you can't absorb it all. The burden on the body is terrifying. Perfect. Bring it on. I'll take it all. At this point, the young man's eyes turned white-blue. Even the power of an aberrant beast will become mine. A majestic green dragon appeared around Luke Saint. Cut to the aberrant blood pods of Stella Kong, Jaden Xiao, and Rex Xing. Jaden Xiao was gritting his teeth and absorbing. A moment later, he panted, "So, this is level 5 aberrant blood." Looking at the display on the pod, the instructor noted, "His absorption efficiency isn't bad. The aberrant blood in one pod is almost completely absorbed by you, as expected of a level 2 psychic." He was wiping his hair with a towel with one hand, clenching his other fist, and gritting his teeth. "This aberrant blood is truly a huge gain for me. It's a pity I can't absorb any more for now." "What about the others?" The instructor replied, "They're not out yet. You're the first one. But don't be discouraged. Your strength relies on psychic power. Your talent in martial arts is naturally a bit weaker. And they're on different paths." These words made him freeze, but he still smiled and replied, "Haha, that's right." Stella's pod opened, her body drenched in sweat, panting heavily. Then she looked at her palm and felt it. "This is amazing. I absorbed all the aberrant blood. I can feel myself about to break through to level 4. My talent has also risen a level. This is great." The instructor looked on with admiration. "Absorbing a whole pod of aberrant blood. Your talent is truly remarkable." Next, Rex Xing came out. He sat up and exclaimed, "Excellent." Steam was rising from his body. He said with excitement, "This aberrant blood is truly a treasure. With a little consolidation, I can directly break through to level 5. The instructor laughed loudly in praise. "Ha ha, you are indeed a true genius. From level 4 to level 5 in just 1 year. I remember it took me nearly 10 years to make that breakthrough. Truly, the younger generation surpasses the older. Your clothes are ready. Go change, and then you can leave." Suddenly, Jaden Xiao ran over, pointing at Rex Xing. "Rex Xing, you didn't even absorb all the aberrant blood in your pod, and you're already about to break through?" Hearing Jaden Xiao's question, Rex Xing ignored him and walked away. The instructor answered for Rex Xing. He has already absorbed 1 full pod. This is his second one. Jaden Xiao was stunned. 2 pods. His eyes bulged, his mouth agape. That means in roughly the same amount of time, he absorbed 2/3 more aberrant blood than us. Jaden Xiao sighed. My strength was already no match for Rex Xing's. Now, I'm afraid the gap is even wider." Stella Kong, standing nearby, said snidely to Jaden, "Strength isn't everything. There's always a gap between geniuses." While Jaden and Stella were admiring him, Rex Xing was suddenly shocked by something he saw. Before Rex Xing's eyes was the scene of the aberrant marrow pool. He exclaimed in shock, "What? How is this possible? The amount of aberrant marrow he's absorbing is insane. This is unbelievable." While everyone else had finished absorbing the aberrant blood, in the aberrant marrow room, the young Luke Saint was still absorbing. Everyone was focused on observing the situation, ready to assist if anything happened. Yu Fei asked, "How is it? Is everything going smoothly?"